Hello, everyone. Welcome inside another edition of The Wrap-Up. I'm Nick Buckler. With me, as always, Dan Myers. Dan, I'm going to let you start the show off with some intense Super Bowl talk. Dan,
all right.
What happened?
Story of the game was the Broncos defense, obviously. That was just huge. Von Miller was incredible. I mean, Wade Phillips completely turned that team around when he was brought in by John Elway last year, and it was just, what a game. I mean, Cam Newton, in my eyes, had a better game than Peyton Manning, but you could have the best game of your life, but with that Broncos defense, you're not going to produce anything, and it went to show last night. I thought that was terrific. It was good to see Peyton Manning right off the sunset, with his trophy. But the story of the game was not Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars. It was the Broncos defense. They were the one that was putting on the show, putting on the clinic on Cam Newton, and it was awesome.
The halftime show was actually terrible, in my opinion. Coldplay's the worst. No offense. I know that's gonna pull the heartstrings for the older folk here, like Dan. But I don't get what the big deal is about Beyonce either. Everyone says she's perfect. She's the queen bee. Listen, folks, I don't care. I was there to see a football game, and I don't even think the game was that good either. It was one of the worst Super Bowls in recent history. Do like to see Peyton Manning go off, so to speak, on top, get his 200th career win, most of all time. He was tied with 199 with Brett Favre going into last night, gets the victory, and I love to see Cam Newton just getting wrecked out there. He was under so much pressure, and that goes to show that they didn't really play anyone all year. They had the powder puffiest schedule I have ever seen, and it goes to, of course they can go 15-1 when they play School of the Blind every week. So, I mean, plain and simple is the team that deserved to win won. And Cam Newton's press conference goes to show that he is just a prima donna. And you have his supporters that are saying, oh, well, he still had his press conference. Yeah, and look how he acted. He acted like a childish baby, and I'm glad he lost. I hope he never wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was pretty tacky and classless on his part. I mean, look at last year when Russell Wilson lost the game. He took full responsibility for it, sat there, answered questions, essentially was a man about it. And on the other hand, this year,
are you signifying Cam Newton is a woman?
Yeah, a boy.
If I were a boy.
Nice, but I that was really embarrassing. I mean, come on. I thought it was great though. All week they've been fluffing him up, making him sound like this incredible player, this great guy out the field, which he is. I mean, he does some work, but it's not how you want to end your Super Bowl time in San Francisco, going out in a bad note. That was horrible. It was just embarrassing. I'm sure we'll get an apology from him or Carolina's PR department eventually.
We won't get that because he doesn't care. He doesn't know any different.
Yeah, well, it's not going
to
be
He doesn't know different. He's not. There won't even be an apology.
Yeah.
If anything, we're more likely to get more of an apology out of Peyton Manning for saying Budweiser
right.
after the game.
Oh my God!
Did you see Papa John come out of nowhere?
He was the first person he shook hands with once that thing came. He came in hot.
Crowd. And you better believe his mascara was dripping after that game. Papa John was hyped that his boy got the win, and he's hoping he retires so he can make some pizzas with his boy Peyton.
Drink some buds.
Drink some alcoholic beverages. We're not endorsed. Budweiser, if you're watching, send us a check, make it out to cash, and we'll get you a spot on the show. But, because we're not as generous as Peyton Manning. We're not going to give you free drops. But another thing, I know a lot of people, they like the commercials. Not impressed this year.
Oh, horrible.
And then they started replaying them because they couldn't fill all the spots. None really even stuck out to me. Not like, oh, that one was good. They only were good because the other ones were so bad.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous. Just
poor Super Bowl all the way around.
I didn't know this. I mean, had you not watched the game, you would have not thought, oh, the Super Bowl started because we have all these awesome commercials like we did in 2011 with the M&M commercial. Mm-hmm. That was the last real time I thought I was really impressed with the commercials. It was pretty embarrassing too.
Yeah, it was not overall. If I didn't watch, knowing what it was like, I wouldn't have been too upset about it. But 24-10 was the final score. The Patriots, I wish they were there.
Right.
The Broncos defeat the Panthers in Santa Clara, home of the 49ers, and Von Miller got the MVP. Cam Newton destroyed. Peyton Manning only didn't play that well, but he didn't make many mistakes. Cam Newton did throw 3 interceptions. There's a couple fumbles in there as well. Defenses were on point, and a pretty boring game overall, though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it really was. But going back to it, he did have a better game than Peyton Manning, but you could tell this had to have been Peyton's last game. It had to be. I mean, he just wasn't the same person. Just a shell of who he used to be, unfortunately. But yeah, it was definitely time for him to hang him up. And
This is like a perfect ending to his
poetic.
career.
Yeah.
You take the all-time lead in wins. If Brett Favre does catch wind, though, he might come out of retirement again. All senile, come out and try to get just 2 more wins.
Lions pick him up for a hefty,
$10 million a year.
contract.
But, I think this is it for him. You win the Super Bowl. You don't want to go to another team because they were likely saying that he would be traded to the LA Rams if he wants to come back. And that franchise is a joke. They just had to move from St. Louis. They don't have many fans. Retire. Do yourself a favor. Don't let your legacy drag out like Brett Favre kind of ruined his or tampered his. Retire. Do us all a favor, and you'll be much more respected.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then breaking news that apparently Terry Foster, was columnist for the Detroit News, said that over the weekend Calvin Johnson was in Las Vegas talking to his friends and partying it up, saying that, yeah, he's done for sure.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
The quote was, I believe, "It's a wrap."
It's a wrap.
Was the quote from Calvin's people. Whoop! Like a 97.1, they play you like that? No, it was kind of tacky. We could have done something in After Effects there, but I'm just going to edit it with my mouth, Anyways, his people in Vegas, the Calvin Johnson party, apparently they call Terry Foster when things are hitting
something
the fan.
happens.
But
yeah, they're boys too.
it is what it is. You got it. For $25 million, it's been real, Calvin. Everyone's saying, they're not even saying anything. They're just, because they're idiots. People who think Calvin needs to be back are morons. That's right. I'm calling you out. If you want to have a seat right here next week on the wrap-up and talk about it, hit me up. But, I'm not. You can't bring him back. He's declining for that money. Sure, he's still tall. He led the team in drops last year. Believe it or not, he had more than Ebron. He's always been in the top 5 in drops in the NFL. So what does that say? He has that big play capability, but anyone who's 6'5" does. For what they're paying him, they could get 4 to 5 role players who have a big role in this team, and they're maybe in the what's the opposite of decline? The
Uprise.
The uprise of their career, and that's what we need as a team. You can't be just banking on all these old dogs. They're not learning anything new. They're old. He's weathered. He's faced concussions, knee injuries, shoulder injuries. He gets rocked every year. It's time. The gig's up, Calvin. It's been real.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And it's smart of him. Apparently he saved his money and he doesn't really have to worry about anything. I'm sure we'll probably see. You know what? I don't know. I don't know if we'll see anything from him after his career is over. He's more of a quiet guy. He doesn't really like putting himself out there. And that's what's been so great about having him on the team is he is a quiet guy. He doesn't need to showboat. He doesn't need to be seen during the off season. So congratulations to him, and best for him.
Mainly congrats is to that he doesn't have to play for the Lions. So congrats. He's going to go away, take his money, and it'll be fine. But enough of this boring football talk. When we have the Detroit Pistons.
Oh,
that's right. I threw a curveball. Didn't have the Pistons in the show's rundown, but I feel like we need to talk basketball. That's right. Basketball is my favorite sport. I love the way they dribble up and down the court. Yeah, look like Mike. Anyone? Calvin Cambridge. Tea time. We got Pistons basketball, folks. They are in the brinks. Is that a word? I just made it up.
You can be. Trademark it now.
Yeah, I pronounced that wrong, but don't care because the Pistons are there on the verge of the playoffs. It's intense. 7th seed in the Eastern Conference, above 500. They have Andre Drummond. They have Brandon Jennings back from injury. They got Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. They got Ersan Ilyasova. They got Stanley Johnson. They got Stan Van Gundy, the Hedgehog, coaching the team, building a wall. This is Pistons basketball. Let's get excited, people. Let's do it. Marcus Morris, where's your brother? Who cares? We got it. Let's go play some bounce and squeak at the Palace of Auburn Hills. This team is ready. They're going to make a run. They're making a run. I don't know where it's going to be, but they're making a run. It might be to the local, Dunham's Dick's Sporting Goods store. I don't know, but they're running somewhere. Hopefully it's deep into the playoffs.
To round 2, yeah, we'll see.
They won't win a playoff series.
No.
No, they won't. I just wanted to get excited about something. It's been tough in Detroit sports to get excited about something. So I decided the Pistons are there. They haven't had a 30-second spot on the show in, ever? So, Pistons. They were on national TV last week for the first time in 3 years. And guess what? They won. They were up by 31 points to the New York Knicks. And guess what? They only won by 4. So,
oh boy.
Sad. They're a sad little team, the Pistons. They're so streaky and inconsistent. I watched so many duds get thrown up at the basket. It was the game the same night. It was last Thursday. They were on TNT. And Charles Barkley said before the game that we need to talk to the commissioner about this because they're setting us up to lose ratings with the Knicks and Pistons. These are 2 of the worst teams ever. And he's not wrong. Craig Sager looked rough, though. I don't know if you saw him. That dude, man, he's like a puppet. So he's definitely seen better days since his, scandal that he was on. Marv Albert as well was there.
Speaking of scandal, yeah.
Speaking of scandal, TNT's got a bunch of them. But, yeah, they were on national TV for the first time in over 3 years. And it was the same night that the Detroit Red Wings were playing in Florida against the Atlantic Division-leading Florida Panthers. And Detroit got dismantled due to their Swiss cheese goaltender they called Jimmy Howard. So I was actually flipping back and forth to see how the Bounce and Squeak Boys Pistons were doing. And both were just troublesome to watch. Now we're going to switch gears. Sorry, Pistons. See you later. To the Red Wings. In that game, Jeff Blashill, down by 3 goals with a power play, pulls the goalie with 9 minutes left. Strategic play because Mike Green scores. And then maybe he just starts to get cocky because he pulls him again with now only a 2-goal lead, which that's reasonable. And when the Red Wings offense, they had 42 shots on net, is peppering Bobby Lou so much, then maybe he just got cocky and pulled him again with 6 minutes left. Then Trocheck scores for Florida right away, back to a three-point, man. I should not have brought basketball into this. Now I'm just off the charts. To a 3-goal deficit again, and now you're under the 8 ball and the game's over. So to me, that's a little bit of a coaching blunder there. Not sure I agree, but hey, you got to do something when you're playing a number 1 team and your boys aren't really rallying so well.
Yeah, and this is a transitional period. I mean, especially with the coach. He's a younger guy, and I applaud him for trying to take some risks. I mean, when your team's not scoring and you're not putting anything in the net, and every defensive play, every time they're on the defensive end of the rink, you feel like the other team's on a power play when they're really not. But no, I'm not really too sorry about that. I thought it was something different, and with the era that we are in with hockey right now, it's definitely not reflective of how it used to be. But I'm sure you're going to see a lot more of chances like that pulled by coaches. Patrick Wasser started it, and now it's just, we'll see. We might be having goalies pulled in the second period. Depends how bad the blowout is.
Damn.
But
calm down.
I'm getting excited.
I know you like John Tortorella and his crazy antics, but Columbus is still in last place. We might need some ice next week to cool these Jets over here. But the Red Wings need to score. And that's been a problem. They did so on Saturday at home against the Islanders. I don't know if you saw the Islanders game on Sunday.
Oh. Yeah.
They lost 5-1 to Detroit. They go back and host Edmonton on Sunday and win 8-1. So they were pretty upset that the Red Wings put a hurting on them. They chased Yaroslav Halak out of the game in the second period, and everyone was joking around at the Joe saying, I didn't know Jimmy Howard was traded to the Islanders. Hey-oh. But, yeah, that was a step in the right direction, definitely, but they need to start stringing games together where they're scoring 4, 5, 6 goals in a game and winning. Tonight, Monday's going to be, another tough game against the Panthers. Roberto Luongo standing on his head. They got a lot of young talent. They're streaking right now. I don't think Florida is going to hold up when it comes playoff time. They're too young. Their defense is too, all over the place. Ekblad's playing well right now, but that's about all I see from them. Yeah. By the way, he's not even 20 years old yet. Where did I go wrong? But time to score. And one of their defensemen who have been scoring is Mike Green. And he's out now, day-to-day with a groin injury, which means Kindle time, everybody. Strap yourselves in. Number 4 is here. Jakob Kindle is the man, and he's going to score 2 goals this week. That's right. You heard it here first. If he doesn't, I'll have a treat for you next week on the show. So this week, expect Kindle 2 goals in the absence of Mike Green. He'll probably be playing with Alexei Marchenko or Brendan Smith. Don't care. It doesn't matter because he's scoring 2. Starting against the Panthers Monday. And that's right. I'm laying it all on the line. Jake, Jakob, Kindle, Fly, the man. Larkin, though, legit. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Gosh, man, he just continues to impress me every game. I can't believe the wheels that this guy has. It's just incredible. I mean, definitely demonstrated it to the world at the All-Star game. Obviously breaking the record that was held by...
it was Gardner.
Gardner, yes.
Mike Gardner, 96.
Yes, it was incredible. But yeah, I'm so happy with the guy. He's so impressive, and I have to actually jump. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. New captain. You thought it was Larkin. I wanted to say Abdicator.
You want to say
jumping ship,
a guy who...
jumping to 71.
Yeah, Abdicator to me doesn't have... I mean, he gets his face beat in every night. He is a guy who gets under the other team's skin more, and that's not really what leaders do. Look, 3 examples that come to my head are Jonathan Taves in Chicago. Real prissy player. Definitely not captain material. Another one, obviously, Crybaby in Pittsburgh, Sidney Crosby. Not captain material. He folds up more than a folding chair in the garage. And then another one, to me, one of my least favorite players in the whole NHL is Dustin Brown. That guy should not be a captain. If you have less than 4 teeth in your mouth, you should not be representing a team as a captain. He's missing everything. He has no grill, and he runs around gumming it. And he's one of the dirtiest players in the league. He goes after star players with cheap shots. It's not just good body checking, getting under their skin. It's cheap shots. He's going after your knees. He's hitting you from behind. He's headshotting you. He's had suspensions. To me, LA, are you proud? Are you proud that that's your captain, that's your guy? UPS, what can Brown do for you? Well, he can get suspended. He can get your team a black eye. And I hope the LA Kings miss the playoffs. They're not. They're in first place. They're going to go far. I'm ranting on. I don't have much breath left in these lungs, but I'm going to keep going because I don't like the Kings and I don't like Dustin Brown.
Yeah, they definitely turned that team around into a grittier, dirtier team, and I'm right there with you. I'm not crazy about them either. But one thing I heard a lot about on the NHL Network, their radio station, they're talking about Winnipeg or the Jets need a goalie.
And
Dustin,
we need a defenseman, a big gritty defenseman.
Yes, we do.
Weird how that
convenient
happens.
that Swiss cheese is
a goalie.
Yeah.
And Dustin Byfuglien is a gritty defenseman, folks.
Yeah.
But they're saying that Winnipeg is in the talks of a lengthy extension, 8 years is what they're saying. But there's another forward who can put the puck in the net who's an unrestricted free agent to be Andrew Ladd, maybe. To be honest, for Jimmy Howard, I'd take a peanut vendor. They have enough at the Joe, but we could use that one to get us over the edge. Yeah. Jimmy Howard for Sal, the peanut guy.
Sal.
Salaries are almost the same. Sal makes about $4.6 million a year. Jimmy makes 5.2. But to me, when you can hurl a peanut, a couple sections over and drop it right over their shoulder, the tips that he's going to be bringing in.
Easily.
Not to mention that nice neon vendor 187 shirt. I almost said 182. We almost had to drop some blink there, but Sal, he's a valuable asset up there in Winnipeg.
What do you think about getting rid of Pavel Datsyuk too?
No.
No?
No.
He's on his way out.
No.
Does he impression you lately?
Let me tell you something, Dan, now that you open the can here of Datsyuk worms. Pavel, to me, is a guy, he's going to retire here in Detroit. And he has to. He has a legacy. He, to me, is trending more upward than Zetterberg. Zetterberg's obviously the captain. They're not trading. Neither guy will get traded. That's just not how the Red Wings do it. They don't trade away former stars. It's just now. Stars come to Detroit to die. We don't give them up. We hold on to guys too long. Dan Cleary. He, by the way, he just returned to Grand Rapids this week. Danny Cleary. But Datsyuk can't get rid of him. He doesn't have trade value either. No one wants him.
You don't think so?
No.
You throw a sweetener deal? Nothing?
Yeah, it might get you a second-round pick instead of a fourth-round pick. I just don't think Datsyuk. They know he's going to retire in a year.
Yeah.
That's like trading for Yager. I
turned
don't.
out pretty
no,
well.
No.
Where's Florida at right now?
Yeah, because of him, Dan.
That's him.
No,
It's all
not
his
him.
doings.
It's the youth of that team. Jaromir Jagr, ever since he got rid of the mullet, has been useless. All right, Jagr is 43 years old. All right, he only has 15 goals this year, and for everyone, they're calling him a star player, still at the age of 43. 15 goals. Let's put that in perspective. All right, Thomas Tatar has more goals. Gustav Nyquist has more goals. And these guys are in down years. This is a great year for Jagr. Get lost. Go rot in Sunrise, Florida with the rest of the old fogies.
He's not going to be going too far after he retires, huh?
No, because he physically won't be able to. The dude can barely walk, let alone skate. Euro Twins, though, they're back together on a line. Jeff Blashill shook up the lines recently, and he put 40 and 13 back together. They haven't been together in long term since the 08 playoffs when the Red Wings won Lord Stanley. So the lines now look a little bit different. They got Datsuk and Zetterberg playing with Abdelkader. And the second line to me is one that really, puts up with that makes you think kind of flag. They got Larkin playing with Brad Richards and Darren Helm. Two guys who really haven't been pulling their weight so much this year, but that line was incredible on Saturday. Larkin had a goal, Richards had 2 assists. Helm didn't have anything, but that's fine, he was there. That just proves how good Larkin is. He can just make these guys, he's a playmaker, and he can score. He's a sharpshooter, playmaker, he's fast. Darren Helm's fast as well. So I really like that line. And then the line that really gets me is Andreas Athanasiou.
Yes.
He has just the wheels he has. And he comes up from Grand Rapids, and, he's one of my favorite guys down there. Him, Tangariti, and Mantha, I think, are great. He's now playing centering the third line between Thomas Tatar and Gustav Nyquist. So, when you got the speedy guy in there centering those two guys who both have 15 goals, you're going to get points. You're going to get scoring chances. You just got to win faceoffs and get back. He's playing on the PK as well. And then the fourth line, they move Riley Sheahan to center the fourth line to kind of bring some spark to that, and then move Glendening over to wing. And then Yurko's a guy who's been stepping it up. Really played well the last 2 games. I think Yurko, finally, we're getting to see what he's all about.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, Athanasiou was doing a great job Saturday. It was +2, I believe, at the end of the game, and had a point and an assist. I think an assist and
He just had an assist.
Yeah, just an assist.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it set up the Tatar goal. It was a great shot from the slot. Tatar chips in the rebound. It was really nice to see as well.
Yeah, really impressed with him, and hopefully, with the performance he had Saturday, we keep him around for a while. I know you really like him. I really like him, and great things I hope are ahead for him.
Yeah, and I really want to see more guys come up from Grand Rapids. Eric Tangradi is one for me that really just, he's big, he's 6'4", he's a big guy. He leads Grand Rapids in goals, and he fights, he's gritty, he hits, finishes his checks. A lot of the wings really don't finish their checks. Abdelkader tries, but we see what happens. We need a guy like him. I'd rather see him than a guy like Pulkkinen, who has been a healthy scratch lately, or a guy like Anderson, who to me shouldn't even be on the team. Just these guys, these mediocre, in limbo kind of players. I think I would not be shocked if they traded Teemu Pulkkinen or maybe a Tomas Jurko this year, but there's just so much depth at forward. These guys aren't getting a chance to, showcase their stuff at the NHL level. And the real big name is Anthony Mantha. To me, he's definitely trade bait, but he's a guy that the Wings have held off and not pulled the trigger on for so long. I think that you owe it to yourselves to not trade him and see what he's got, because you've never given him a chance. He hasn't played an NHL game yet in his career.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. And you're right. They have invested so much and skipped out on a lot in order to keep him. And I hope he's worth the investment. He sounds like he's doing good down in Grand Rapids, but that's a completely different show compared to the show NHL. And hopefully he's able to pull the trigger and mesh well with the present lines that they have, and hopefully he can get that done.
Definitely got to trim the fat moving forward, and that means might be getting rid of a Nyquist or a Tatar, maybe a Darren Helm, but definitely a lot of depth at forward, and we're just gonna have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really all we can do going forward, and we're going to have you covered now until next week to see what kind of triggers are being pulled for this team, for the Red Wings. So, Dan Myers, what do you got for next week?
Next week we're gonna have. I'm excited to see whether your boy scores 2 goals or not.
Scoring 2 goals. All right?
That's the big news right
there.
there.
Scoring 2 goals, or else I'm going to have to do something that I never thought I'd have to do on live television. And We're gonna have to wait to find out.
It's a good tease.
Until next week.
Good
So,
tease.
well, we're
I'm
gonna
watching.
we're gonna keep it real, and we're gonna hold off till next week for Dan Myers. I'm Nick Buckler. Thanks for watching the wrap up.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Steinhurst. My husband and I are owners of Steiny's Tavern. We're located on the northwest corner of 25 Mile and Shelby Road. We offer a unique dining experience from our restaurant to our off-site catering. Everything we make is from scratch. We utilize Michigan-made products whenever possible. We're open 7 days a week. We offer daily lunch and dinner specials, and we carry the most craft beers on draft in all of Macomb County. So plan on coming out to Steiny's Tavern, where you come for the food and stay for the party.
Hi, this is Dr. Antelek at The Gentle Dentist. If you or a loved one has had a bad experience at the dentist, then we can help you. We articulate this best with our mission statement, which is, we use our God-given talents and abilities to serve all with Christ-like compassion by listening to their needs first and then delivering uncompromised care with respect and integrity. So if your smile isn't becoming to you, then you should be coming to us.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Steinhurst. My husband and I are owners of Steiny's Tavern. We're located on the northwest corner of 25 Mile and Shelby Road. We offer a unique dining experience from our restaurant to our off-site catering. Everything we make is from scratch. We utilize Michigan-made products whenever possible. We're open 7 days a week. We offer daily lunch and dinner specials, and we carry the most craft beers on draft in all of Macomb County. So plan on coming out to Steiny's Tavern, where you come for the food and stay for the party.